great to be hearing about is Justin Bieber. Okay?
That's me. That's David.
Um,
I'm not Justin Bieber.
I call him just an idiot. Okay? I actually feel very sorry for the poor boy.
Why?
Because he's being set up to be disappointed with his life. What you learn as you get older is that things like fame, well, there was a running back on the Jets years ago by the name of Curtis Martin. He was a great running back. And he was a very wise and philosophical guy. And they went up to him and they said, they asked him some questions about whatever, and he said that if he had an enemy, particularly a young enemy, he would give him three things: popularity, all the money he ever wanted, and fame. And he said that will be enough to ruin him. And they said, huh? Don't you think everybody wants lots of money? Don't you think everybody wants to be famous? And he said very, very few people are able to handle getting all of those things when they're so young. And look, life shouldn't be all struggles, but there should be enough struggles in life, and you should be able, to surround yourself with people who can tell you the truth and are not just hangers-on, that you can grow as a human being. And I think that Justin Bieber is in a place, just like Miley Cyrus, just like Demi Lovato, just like all of these guys, Macaulay Culkin, just like all of these guys who have fame hit them at such a young age, fame and fortune, and it really does often ruin them. If you were to go onto Google and type in young Hollywood stars, lives ruined or something like that, the number of young people who turn to a life of drugs, who turn to just living this life that's very, very difficult is it's unbelievable. It's the vast majority of them. And the ones who tend to survive it and do well are often the ones who quit. And who say, you know what, I don't want to sing anymore. I don't want to dance anymore. I don't want to be in movies anymore. I don't want to be in shows anymore. And they go back to living some kind of normal life. So I know that sometimes in your own life that you look up and it's frustrating. And I know sometimes mom and dad can bug you. And I know sometimes school can get on your nerves. And I know that sometimes it seems that you don't have everything that you want in this world. And to be like that constantly is a bad thing. But some of that is a necessary thing. And if you don't do that, if you don't learn how to cope with that and how to survive it, then at the end of the day, when you turn 30, it's not the same. One of the things that happens to these child stars is they're super popular when they're 15, 18, 19, 20, Justin Bieber, Miley Cyrus, and everybody thinks that they think that two things. First, they feel they always have to live up to what people expect of them. When they go in to see their managers talk to them about living up to a certain image. And in my own life, if I was to try to live up to an image of what people thought of me, it wouldn't be good. I remember when I had girlfriends, when I was like in 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. No, obviously one at a time. But when I would have a girlfriend, the thought that would be on my mind all the time would not be, you know, or it would be dominated by, is what I'm doing what she wants me to do? Is how I'm behaving the way that I think she would want her boyfriend to behave? Am I living up to what I think the image of her boyfriend would be? Rather than to say to myself, look, there's right and wrong, and I'm going to do the right thing, and I really don't care what people think. I think you grow into that as you get a little bit older. And when you look at a guy who has been surrounded, you know, they used to call them posses, I don't know what they call them now, but they're surrounded by these entourages that go everywhere with them. And these people leech money off them. They get their 15 minutes worth of fame. They think that this is how life really is. And these young stars, they think that they're the center of the world, and then they start thinking, well, I have to live up to the image of my star. Nobody is their image. Justin Bieber's not his image. Miley Cyrus isn't her image. Ariana Grande, none of these people are the image of who they are. And they find it very hard to be real because their managers are saying to them, oh, no, you have to be like this. You have to be like that. And if I tried to live my life other than who I am, it would drive me crazy. And I think if you got in the quiet of a hotel room, or the quiet of wherever, and you talk to these young stars, and you said to them, what do you want most in your life? I think they would say, I want normalcy. I want to be a normal kid. I don't want this. This is too much. Now, one of my favorite artists is this guy named Bruce Springsteen, and he's a Jersey guy. He's got this song that talks about how he made it big, and he moved out to LA, and he had a house in California and stuff. How it all fell apart for him. He said he was a rich man in a poor man's shirt. His butt was dragging, and he said that there was a girl who came along, he eventually married her, and she was from his homeland, his heartland, I'm sorry. And he just learned that he's not this Hollywood, LA, ritzy kind of guy. He said, I had a snakeskin suit, and I pulled the thread, and the suit all came apart. He said, I'm a Jersey boy. I belong home in Jersey. So there's these very famous stories. Yeah, he's got $1 billion, and yeah, he's got a really big horse farm in Jersey. But everybody talks about the fact that, you know what he does during the day? He drives to the local dock, and he sits there and he watches the waves at the inlet. And he drives in a normal car, and he lives a normal life. And I think that's why he's so well grounded, and why he's a normal human being. When you see so many of these rock stars, they get so caught up in drugs, and they end up dying of overdoses and having their lives ruined, and so on and so forth. So the next time you think you got it that bad, think about what I just said, and maybe you'll realize that in some ways you got it pretty good. All right, we did this yesterday. This would be 4,000 today, right? Because the exponents changed a little bit. But number one is 4,000. Are we good with that?
Yep.
Okay. The graph of y equals 5 looks like this one, right above the axis, 5. What's the equation of line? The slope is 2, y-intercept is -3, right here. Choice B. Here's a question that we haven't done that much with this year, but we've done a little bit with it. I want to get it back together again. When you do a question like this, you've got to get your like terms together. If I said to you that over here on Candace's desk, I have 2 notebooks and 3 pencils, and over here I have 5 notebooks and another pencil. Altogether, I would have 8 notebooks and 4 pencils. Well, likewise, when I look at this, everybody thinks algebra is this really hard thing. It's not. Sum means add. If I have 4x squared and another x squared, what do I have? 5x squared. Now that alone knocks out all the other choices. But let's finish it up. If I have 1x, that's the only x, so there it is. If I have 8 negatives and 9 negatives, oh, this is a little wrong. This should be -17. Okay? All right, so I think there's one more question when you do it. Function y equals -2x minus 5. What is the output if the input's -2? So what I'm going to do is take -2, plug it in for x, because x is input. What's -2 times -2? 4. 4 minus 5 is? -1. There we go. Okay? All right. So today we're going to the next step, and we're going to talk about what is and is not a function. Okay? Now, a function. It's very important to understand what's going on with a function. I'm going to draw a function in a picture, then in a table. I'll do 2 tables, and then I'll do 2 graphs. And let's picture what is a function and what is not a function. The most important thing you need to know about a function is 2 things. First off, every element in the domain. Now, we talked about that word. The domain is the set of all inputs. Every element, Davis, of the domain has one and only one image, has only one output for every input. So, for instance, little Raider spirit here, if I put down -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and over here I do 3579. That is a function. The reason it is a function, if I take a look at the picture, everything in this picture has an output or an image, and none of them have two different outputs. If I added in one that looked like this, 3, and from 3 I put two different arrows going from it, that would make it not a function. Okay? As long as I don't see that, which I don't, then it's going to be a function. All right. So if I look at this as a table, I have -2, 3, -1, 5, 0, 7, 1, 9, 2, 9. That is a function. Okay? Every single element in the domain is listed only once. I don't care what the outputs are. When I'm evaluating if something is a function, I'm only worried about the inputs. What letter is input, guys?
One.
What letter is input? X. So I look in the X column and I see if any of them are repeated. Let's try another one. Is that a function?
No.
Why is it not a function? Davis?
Because there's 2 zeros.
That's right, there's 2 zeros. If I made it as a picture, that means 0 would go to 3, and 0 would go to 2. Can I have that? No. So this is a picture of one that's not a function. Okay? Now, I'm looking for any domain element that repeats itself, does it more than once. Yes?
Can it go like 1, 2, and then skip a couple, like for the input?
Mm-hmm.
Can it go 1, 2, and then go to like 10, 11?
Sure. Sure, as long as everything in the input has only one and only one image. All right, so here's a graph. Here's a parabola graph. We did that the other day. This is a function. The reason a parabola graph is a function is it passes what we call the vertical line test. The vertical line test means that I can draw any vertical line I want. And when I draw that vertical line, I will cross the graph once and only once. I will never touch twice. If I touch twice, it's not a function. If I touch more than twice, it's not a function. 2 or more times is not a function. Touch once, it is a function. Here's one. I could do a line. The line is also a function. I only touch once. Davis, end the game. But what about this one? What if I turn that parabola sideways? Now do I touch only once? No. I touch more than once. In fact, I touched twice. So therefore, that last one is not a function. So the first thing we did today was we emphasized what is and is not a function. Any input has to have only one output. The minute I draw an input like this 3 here that goes in 2 different places, that means it's not a function. That messes everything up. This first table is good because they're all different. -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Nothing repeats. This is bad because the zeros repeat. These graphs are good because any vertical line touches either the parabola or the line once and only once. This is bad because I can draw a vertical line that touches more than once. Okay? Any questions? All right. So let's take a look at this one. What is the function here?
It's a check and an X.
Oh, square root of x. Oh. It's supposed to say this. Oh. Y equals
Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
the square root of x. Now, the square root of x, square root is something that you haven't done a lot with. You did a little bit last year. Square root means the number that times itself equals. So, for instance, one of the best square roots we could come up with is the square root of 25. What is the square root of 25? 5. How come the square root of 25 is 5? Because 5 times 5 is 25. Good. What's the square root of 9?
3.
Stop. 3. Why is it 3?
3 times 3.
3 times 3 is 9. What's the square root of 1?
1.
Why?
1 times 10 is 1.
Good, what's the square root of 100?
10.
10, why?
10 times 10 equals 100.
Good, some people will think it's 50,
Why?
but it's not, because
50
50 times 50 does not equal 100. 50 times 2 equals 100. So square roots is always times itself. What's the square root of 64? 8. 8, because 8 times 8 is 64. Okay, so let's have you guys fill out this table. Go ahead. Oh, it's already filled out? Okay, so one of the things I want you to notice with this table is that when it comes to the square root of 4, there are actually 2 of them.
Yeah.
How come there's 2?
Because why not?
How come there's 2 square roots of 4? Well, what number times itself equals 4? The obvious one that most people think of right away is 2. But also, negative 2.
Oh yeah, -2.
Because negative 2 times negative 2 is 4. Jamie, I'm having a problem.
Sorry.
Don't be sorry, just don't do it anymore. It's gonna be, what should we call it? Negative 2. What are the 2 square roots for 1? 1 and negative 1. Good. Now, 0 only has 1 square root. What's the square root of 0? 0. Now, if I was to graph this guy, it looks like this. In other words, that's what those points plotted, right? Like I would get the point 4, 2, 4, negative 2, 1,
Yeah,
1, 1, negative 1,
Wait,
and then 0, 0.
wait, our table is different. It says,
Our Y is different than yours.
yeah, it says 4, -2, 4, -1, 1, -5, 1, -6, and then 0, 3.
Cross yours out and put mine down, because if it's the square root function, that would not work. Okay? Hey, shh. Okay. Now, as you can tell, this would fail the vertical line test, right? So this is not a function. Another good example is, look, 4 has 2 different outputs. So it's not a function. When something is not a function, it is called a relation. Okay? When something's not a function, it is called a relation. If I wrote this as a set of ordered pairs, I would write 4, 2, 4, -2, 1, 1, 1, -1, 0, 0. Okay? All of those, that is, as a set of ordered pairs, what this function looks like. Okay? So, what we're trying to learn and trying to understand today is not so much what is a function. We've done that for a few days, but we're trying to sharpen our understanding of functions by seeing what is not a function. Okay? Any questions? All right. What's that?
What's the square root again?
Number that times itself. So the square root of 100 is 10, because 10 times 10 is 100. Square root of 25 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Okay. Now, the next question is, which of the following are not functions? What did I do here for part C? Draw a graph? Okay, C looks like this, and D, 1, 2, 3, and I don't really care what they go to. All right, so is the first one a function?
Yes. No.
Who says no? Why? You're looking for the X guy to repeat. Do any of the X guys repeat? No, so it is a function. Next one, is that one a function?
No.
No, why? Because the one repeats. Is this one a function?
No.
No, why?
There's a line.
Vertical line test, good. Is this guy a function?
No,
No, why?
because the 3 has 2.
Because the 3 splits off in both directions. Okay, So first objective for today accomplished, we have clarified exactly what it means to be a function. Namely, that every guy in the input can only have one image. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is a little bit of a real life situation here. And this gets into what they love. How many people here expect to take the state test?
Wait, what is, wait, the
How many
one,
people here expect to take it?
Like you were.
The
you
one,
can
the
opt
state
out?
test, the mandated assessment?
the one you can opt out?
Raise your hand, we got one, right? Anybody else? Don't be scared, if you, listen, the state test is what it is. If your family wants you to take it, you take it. If your family doesn't want you to take it, you don't take it. It's your business. Whatever you wish is what we're gonna honor. But if you end up taking that state test, I want you to understand that they do love to put questions like this on that state test. There will also be some of these questions on your final exam. Our final exam is modeled on the state test, so that we are sure we're giving you the kind of questions that they expect you to get right. So let's go through this, ready? Jenny,
Wait, who's Jenny?
Jenny,
She's giving you the eye.
no, she's hiding her eyes.
Oh.
Wants to start a business making websites. It costs her $50 for a license and $725 for supplies. Each website she creates earns her a profit of $125. Now, we have to define which variable is input, which variable is output. What do we always say?
Input is X.
Input is
output
X,
Y.
output is Y. Now, in this problem, we might call it W for website and P for profit. The amount of money you make. Okay, write a function rule. How much money does she take in every time she creates a website? 125. So the profit is $125 every time she does a website, but what do I gotta remember?
Her website costs like 50.
Cost her $50
Yep.
and $725, so I have to subtract $775.
That's pricey.
Yeah, but it's only pay it one time. So after you make a few websites, you never pay again, start making money. All right,
Do you get money?
create a table below. Guys, use this rule, P and W, to figure out the table. Go ahead.
Is that what you have to do, creating your website?
Or I only do it for me.
What?
I only do it for me, but companies do it for them. Stop. Okay, so, sorry about talking with my mouth full here. Let's plug in a zero. What's 125 times zero? Minus 775.
Negative.
Negative 775. Plug in a one. What's 125 times one?
125. Oh.
Good, minus 775 is?
650.
Negative 650. Let's try a two. What is 125 times two?
250.
Good. Minus 775 is minus 525. What about three?
It's 375.
Minus 775 is?
Um,
Minus 400. Now let's try 8. What's 125 times 8?
it's 95. 1,000.
1,000. Good. 1,000 minus 775 is? We have profit. All right.
You can always take